We've all had that feeling before. Your muscles tense up, your stomach is in knots, and your mind lacks motivation. That feeling is called stress. Stress is known as any physical, emotional, or mental response to an event that causes body tension. I myself am constantly searching for new ways in order to help manage my own stress. Considering we deal with stress on a weekly basis, it is important to know how to manage your stress when it comes to college. I'm going to talk about the different causes of stress on the life of a college student, the effects of stress on the body, and tips on how to manage your stress best. First, I'm going to talk about the causes of stress on a typical college student. We all just recently made that change from high school to college, and academic stressors seem to have the most stress on students. According to the stress management expert Elizabeth Scott, quote, "The workload in college is a lot more than it was in high school," unquote. According to the Race to Nowhere documentary, quote, "Many children get overwhelmed with tests, activities, and the pressures to succeed," unquote. Students are always contemplating lifelong questions such as who they are and where they'd like to be. Procrastination also seems to be a large factor on stress. Waiting until the last minute ends up leading to stress because of how much you have to do in such a short amount of time. Social problems also add to stress to college students' lives. Depending on if you came to school with knowing a lot of people or none at all, the social situations could have different levels of effect on you. If you came to college knowing nobody, then the fact of being surrounded by all new people can be very stressful, especially when it comes to trying to fit in. According to Scott, living with a roommate can cause stress on a college student's life. The level of stress varies on the situation depending on how well the two of you get along. According to the stress management expert, quote, "Balancing friends with schoolwork adds stress on college students' lives," unquote. College comes a time where it tests you on how well you can balance friends and schoolwork. Since you're constantly surrounded by your friends, it can be hard to focus and get your schoolwork done, which can lead to stress, especially when the due date ends up rolling around. Next, the effects of stress are important to be aware of, considering the dangers behind them. It is important to realize the different effects that stress has on the body and the mind. Stress affects the body physically. As stated in Scott's article, Common Causes of Stress, quote, "Students deal with stress in college, which can be a significant factor to the dreaded freshman 15, unquote. Gaining weight is a common side effect of stress, and it can often lead to eating disorders. According to the Stress Portrait of a Killer documentary, quote, "Chronic stress can kill brain cells," unquote. Chronic stress occurs after someone suffers through emotional pressures for a long period of time, and is much more serious than acute stress, and it can often lead to depression. Stress also has an effect on the body emotionally and mentally. Depression is common in those who are stressed because of the constant feeling of being swamped. The effect that stress has on the brain often causes college students to be overwhelmed and drop out of college. According to Scott, quote, 50% of all American students who enter college don't end up graduating, unquote. After learning of the causes and effects of stress, I'm going to talk about different ways in order to manage them. Managing your stress is important so that you can get rid of it early so that it never has a chance to turn into anything too serious. Aromatherapy is a good way to relieve your stress quickly. I am going to pass around, I have two different scents that are often used to relieve stress, and you guys can open them up and smell them. There are multiple, according to the article Aromatherapy Benefits, quote, "Studies show that aromatherapy does indeed have an effect on brainwaves and can alter behavior," unquote. There are multiple different scents that are used to manage stress, but I'm going to talk about two, lavender and rosemary. They are both associated with happiness, and they both have positive effects on performance and mood in the past. The difference between the two lies in the lavender, and the lavender has additional calming effects that the rosemary does not. Also, staying organized as a person helps manage your stress. Creating and staying on top of a schedule is important so that you can allow yourself time to study and get your work done. In the article, How to Reduce Stress in College, Elizabeth Scott says that, quote, "It's best to overestimate when it comes time to study hours, so you don't have to pull all-nighters and make up for it in the next few days," unquote. Exercise is another thing that helps when it comes to relieving your stress. Yoga often helps with relaxation of the mind, and it has total health benefits. If you don't enjoy yoga, then you can always try taking up a different class in the WRC so that you can get your exercise in. After learning about the causes and effects of stress, I hope it pushes you to motivate yourself to help maintain your own stress. Basic causes of stress in college come from the different academic and social situations that occur. The effects are known to be physical, emotional, and mental, and some have greater risks than others, but they are all important to maintain. When it comes to maintaining stress, there are three basic categories to go by: stay organized, exercise, and use aromatherapy. Stress affects everybody weekly, and it is important to know how to manage it, especially when you're at college, because that seems to be when people get the most stressed. Next time you feel stressed, think about what you learned in the speech, take action, and soon your stress will be gone.